Everyone who has millions started from zero, from this to that, from nothing to everything. As a divine healer, let me show you the blueprint to heal your deepest wounds, step into your destiny, and become the happiest person you know. My name is Steph Mahony, and welcome to your Million Dollar Life podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome to your Million Dollar Life podcast. I am your host, Steph Mahony, a healer, divine channel, speaker, and the founder of your Million Dollar Life, a life that has nothing to do with money and everything to do with feeling like $1 million. It is the beauty that shines from within you when you're healed, transformed, and step into your purpose. Your $1 million life is your best life, and this podcast is a roadmap of how to get you there. If you're new to this channel, I encourage you to like, subscribe, and share with your friends so that they can live their $1 million life too. Today is an exciting day because we are diving into the power of why and how this has the potential to pivot you into divine alignment to fulfill the fullness of your destiny. With me today is a beautiful guest named Stephanie McPherson, also known as Stephanie. Stephanie is a certified health coach and a cook show host and author of Freakin licious, using the power of food that is transformative from being bland into flavorful and delicious, transforming your mind, body, and soul. Life didn't always start off this way for Stephanie. Years ago, in her 20s, she was like many of us, where she was in the rut of dealing with the consequences of eating food that was high in sugar and fully processed. And she was looking for a better way. She was feeling so unfulfilled, unsure of her path. And by wanting to become healthier on the inside out, she discovered the pathway of healthy eating, but everything was bland and boring. And she discovered that it could actually be delicious and exciting and something that people strive to eat and look forward to. So her pain has become her purpose. Her mess has become her message. And the power of her why has shifted her into her own divine purpose. And that is why I'm so excited for you to learn about who she is, how she started, and how her transformational journey can impact you too. So welcome, Stephanie, to the show. It is such a pleasure having you here.
I am so honored to be here, Steph. Funny as well. And this is, like we said a few minutes ago, this has been a long time coming. And we've known each
Yes.
other since what, was it 2020 or 2021 when we were introduced conglomeratively with a whole bunch of other beautiful souls from all around the world
Absolutely.
to co-host
Absolutely.
the Quantum Retreat. And that was amazing.
100% a quantum retreat in Arizona, and it was such a beautiful retreat. Unfortunately, I couldn't go because I was very pregnant. However, it is something that I really look forward to in the future because it
Absolutely.
was so, so exciting. And I know that we've had the opportunity to meet, and I've always been so inspired by your story and your personality. You're such a bright light. I mean, you are also teaching Reiki, so you have this light spewing out of you. And everybody you talk to, you seem to transform and up level at that moment to moment basis. So, Steph, I'm just going to throw it out there to you if you want to take the torch and just share a little bit about who you are and a little bit about your journey.
Right. Thank you, Steph. Again, an honor to be here. So, hello, everyone. I'm Stephanie McPherson, and one of my best friends back in the day, because I'm a very silly, I call it big honkin' goob. If I'm not calling you a big honkin' goob, I don't like you or you're just mad to me. I love everybody, but you know what I'm saying. And she's like, your name isn't Stephanie, it's Steph Funny, because you're so funny. So that's where the nickname Steph Funny came from.
I love
And
it.
so as Steph said, I am a health coach. I'm a worthiness empowerment coach. I have a bachelor's in biology. I am certified Reiki 1 and 2. So I definitely
Mhm.
perform Reiki. And our good friend Lacey is looking to certify me in level 3 at some point.
Amazing.
I recently started a meal prep business. Well, actually, I've been doing it out of my house for about a year and a half for a
Mhm.
very handful of clients, like friends. And I came across this platform that's dedicated to growing your food and meal prep business. And I'm a think fast, act quicker type of person. I've always just I have an intuitive thought, and I'm like, I just jump and take action. And again, it's rooted in where I've been all my entire life, even that started in childhood. And so to your question, who am I, what am I all about? So my certifications are, but let me explain that my certifications have always been rooted in some fervent, heart pounding, passionate desire, heart pound for something that not only is about myself, but it's also about other people. So, you know, when I became a certified health coach, I've been on this journey of health and wellness since my early 20s, and it was a physical appearance thing, and that's what elicited the desire. I happened to be dating a guy at the time who was a big gym rat, regimented workout schedule, workout routine, food, and the way in which he fueled his body. And I was complaining about these undesirable physical consequences. And he's like, well, why don't you come to the gym with me? With him and
Mhm.
his friends, they taught me how to work out. And I learned that way of real super clean, lean eating.
Mhm.
And I loved the results, and I'm dedicated. Like when I am dedicated to something, it's Katie bar the door. There is no, there are cheat meals and there are cheat days and there may be even cheat weeks, but I
Yeah.
have been dedicated on the path, and I will be dedicated continuously on the path until I'm no longer physically present in matter on this particular earth. But
Mhm.
I'm dedicated to my physical fitness, my health and wellness. And around that time also is when I was questioning, because I had thought that I wanted to go into architecture. I had thought that maybe I wanted to go into child psychology, again, rooted in a deep desire. I love architecture. I love interior design. And also, in switching gears to being like having a desire for child psychology is seeing around me people who had stories of their children being unhappy, being unfulfilled, growing up with stories in environments that weren't loving. And in my personal experience, Steph, is that was a drive. Like, I want to help little children grow into these self-aware, intentional human beings. And and again, rooted in this desire for people at the end of the day to be happy, and rooted in the happiness is rooted in self-awareness. And then through self-awareness, you cultivate that self-love, that true self-love. I'm
Mhm.
not talking about the conceited self-love, I'm better than everybody else. We're talking about a complete dichotomy of that, where because you love yourself so much that the beacon of light that you are, that you represent something that's possible in every single human being. And
Mhm.
and so all of that, and then I come across the book The Empowered Mind, and soon after, and this was catalyst in my life,
Wow.
sitting around
Amazing.
answering the questions, feeling somewhat um, again, switching majors a couple of times, and feeling, I've been on the health and wellness journey, physical fitness, et cetera. That was working well. But like, what am I really, learning about myself? What's awesome about myself? What
Mhm.
are my skills? What are my
Mhm.
strong sets? What are weaknesses? So then you learn and you really start to discover who you are. And most importantly, why. Like why you want what you want, why you
Yes.
desire what you desire.
Yes.
And as you mentioned, like $1 million life, $1 million is it's a great term because everybody knows, oh, $1 million. And when you say $1 million, it's like this ooh, high vibration, tingly, because
Yeah.
yes, money, yes, is energy just like everything else.
Yeah.
And when you have money, you have the abundance that enables you to live a life where you're not worried about bills, you're not worried about feeding your
Mhm.
children, you can go on vacations, I call it freedom of play. And I
Yeah.
learned back then intentional language. So I repeat mantras like all day, every day. Well, many times. Not like I'm sitting here going, yeah. I mean, I do that in sacred space in the morning, but it's about being intentional with being mindful about how you're speaking, the words that are
Mhm.
coming up out of your mouth, how how you are thinking, what you share, what you
Yes.
feel is possible for yourself and then others. And it's like, being, so grateful. Like a new mantra that I've incorporated is I'm so grateful. Thank you for the 2 new clients or the 5 new clients that I attracted from my meal
Yes.
prep business this week. And what you're doing is you're already telling the universe that it's already there. It's already happening, whether it's showing up physically in your life. So the
It's a
mindful
wish
language,
fulfilled, right? It's your
yes,
wishes fulfilled.
yes.
Absolutely.
Um,
Absolutely.
Prayerful intentions, focused energy in the direction that where like I call it heart pounding passion.
Mhm.
So then it transferred into, and this is completely, but again, it's still in alignment with what I thought health and wellness
Mhm.
was. Around that time, a good friend of mine, his mother, her best friend was in pharmaceutical sales. And my friend was like, Stephanie, you would be awesome. You'd be a dynamite drug rep. And I'm like, well, what's that? And he described the job. And then I was like, duh, bachelor's in biology. I'm going to, go into pharmaceutical sales. Soon thereafter, I saw an aneurysm operation on Discovery Health. And I was like, I'll jump through the TV. I'm like, oh, I want to be in the operating room. I want to watch surgery and sell, you know. But after college, and unbeknownst, like I said, I'm Katie bar the door. And I fervently, with every ounce of my being, pursued and became within a hair, an eighth of a hair of job offers over and over and over and over and over with all these pharmaceutical companies. And then the last millimeter of an eighth of a second, I wouldn't be ascended the offer, it would be the other candidates. And then I actually did get an offer, and then I had too many speeding tickets on my driving record, which I'm sure my energy's like, I can't believe that girl speeds. But anyway, so then I wound up in coming across that documentary, Natural Cures They Don't Want You to Know About. And then a ding,
Mm.
ding, 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 ding light bulb went off
Mhm.
that my heart was getting broke over and over and over during that 2.5 years I was pursuing that industry and getting so close. And you can imagine the excitement around me.
Mhm.
Oh, you're going to get this one. You're going to, to just to not. And it hit me like, wait a minute. While necessary in certain cases, absolutely, pharmaceutical drugs are not true health wellness. It's
Mhm.
be on the treadmill, some form of exercise, be mindful about what you're choosing to fuel your body with. And I have been doing this for 11 years for myself. So I'm like, that's why I'm not getting these jobs. And you have to, again, and Steph, I'm relentless. I'm relentless. When I want something, it's just like, I don't step on other people. It's not about, I don't
Yeah,
compete
yeah,
with
yeah. Yeah.
nobody. But I'm so focused and hell bent on, because I feel, and that, but again, pivoting, that's not meant for me.
Yes.
Um, yeah.
So, Steph, there's so much that I want to talk about here because, first of all, so our community diving in are in this journey of transformation, like you once were. And if we take it to the beginning of your story, it's really uncovering your why. And your why is why you want what you want, like who you truly are. And that is all about alignment, right? Because sometimes we really believe we really want something and the universe will show it to us. And then we're like, huh, it's not working out the way I thought. This is maybe not what I want. And we realize that it could have been somebody else's dream for us, or it could have been something that's not a, in alignment for who we truly are and our higher purpose. And then
Right.
all of a sudden, it's like the tower falls on that
The
dream.
tower. Yes.
The tower
Yeah.
falls just like it did on you. And you're like,
Mm,
wait a minute, what happened?
yeah.
And then you think like, of course we have like that remorse. We're like, but why? But then you realize when you can open your mind to realize if the universe is saying no in one area, it means that there's a yes somewhere else.
Cold chills.
And that yes is to give you alignment. It's a pivot into the right direction. So, Steph, one of the
Absolutely.
things I always talk about is your North Star. Your North Star is up here, and this is everything you're destined and charted to do in this world. It's all your blueprints and contracts and divine relationships and everything that is meant for you. But through free will, we get to choose, and sometimes we point the wrong direction. We're
Right.
like pointing
Right.
here. We think we really want this, but then when the tower falls, then it actually pivots us back here for us to get to this place. And it
Absolutely.
shows us this dream behind a dream behind a dream, right? And you realize when you can finally let go and surrender what you're holding on. Because if you kept holding on to that pharmaceutical dream,
Right. Mm-hmm.
maybe you would have gotten it, but maybe you'd be miserable. Maybe you'd love it
Right.
immediately, but then you'd like things would crumble. Whatever is not meant for you will always crumble, right?
Right.
Because the universe loves you so much
Exactly.
that it will shift you into where you're meant to go. And where
Right.
you're meant to go will feel easy. You're going to be a rock star because it's so natural, highlighting all of your gifts. And that's what's happening for you today.
Yes. All that
And
being
it's
said, is that my love for I've been cooking with my grandmother since I was 3 years. I played
oh,
restaurant with my mom when I was a child.
so
And,
sweet.
and in that, well, I would do pharmaceutical and then surgical, I wound up seeing the Food Network on TV. And this was like about, again, another jumping through the TV moment. And I'm just like, oh, I'm going to host cooking shows for the Food Network.
Yeah.
And that's a journey in and of itself that has now taken a bit of a pivot because I've been watching that network since the late 90s. Like there's nothing else on TV, and
Me
I
too.
adore so many of the cooks and the chefs, and it's like I fantasize, and maybe I don't know if that sounds sexual, but dream or
Yeah,
fantasize, whatever you
of
want. Sit next to
course.
like for Sunny Anderson, on Beat Bobby Flay as the two co-host judges
Yeah,
because she is so like she's like the best number one at like giving him shit. But also through that is you see the love and you feel the
yeah,
family that they all are. And I've been like, I was, oh, I want to be a part of that family. I fantasize about being on Guy's show, the Guy's Ranch, where you can just tell they're all
yeah,
friends and they're
yeah,
cooking and they're laughing. And so part of that, of my why of wanting to be a part of that network was just because I'm like, for lack of a better way to put it, in love, but I'm not in love. You know what I mean? Just, oh, I adore
100%.
so many of them. And so so for the last 2 or 3 years, I have been sending pitch decks and sizzle reels to various production companies. And then I had an opportunity to actually work on a show, back in January. I washed dishes. That's what I was hopefully going to be on the culinary team chopping vegetables for the
Yeah,
show. But I
yeah,
wound up like washing dishes. But, at the end of the day, in my mind, I was like, hell yeah, I'll go and wash dishes.
of
I'll
course.
still be around people that I can network with that will enable me or possibly enable me from acquiring and actualizing on my dream. But then there were
Mhm.
some things that happened while I was there. And it's kind of like now I've pivoted away from the dream. I'm no longer so solely laser focused on it being, I've got to be on the Food Network. I have expanded to
Yes.
like, you know what? It could be Amazon Prime. It could be a Netflix. It could be, but I
Yeah.
will. And I told you that I will be on a network, a major. I'm building my own food and
Oh,
empowerment
I have no
empire,
doubt. And I
empire
feel
girl.
that the frequency is
Mm-hmm.
going to be so big, aligned to the 5D frequency.
Yes, yes,
Because I love the Food Network too.
yes.
I've been watching it like literally my whole life. I love to cook. Also love healthy eating too. Not so much of a baker.
Yeah, yeah,
But
me either. Yeah,
but when I watch it now, I'm just like, wait a minute. Like it went from like cooking to everything's like a contest. And I'm like,
oh,
I just don't feel aligned
yeah,
with this. I don't know what's happening. So I
right.
feel like all of this stuff, again, because your underlying why is I want to help people and show people a pathway to healthy eating that they can
Healthy,
actually do this
scrumptious
too.
food.
And it makes so much sense. Like the universe allows you to experience it, to
Mhm.
get a taste of it, which is
Yes.
so amazing. But sometimes, you have to go through something to determine maybe I don't want that anymore. And there's another pivot, right?
Right.
It's all this
Pivot.
pivot to your North Star,
Right.
right? And now I love this alignment. We're like, I don't need I'm going to make my own stage. You know what I mean?
No,
Like, forget network.
seriously.
I'm going to make my own stage. And
You
that
know,
is what you're doing,
and
right? You're
that being
showing up
said,
all
right.
the time.
And that being said, Steph, I have to say this, and I posted something about this like a few weeks ago. There are 3 C's. There's competition,
Yeah.
collaboration, and celebration. I
Yeah.
only do 2 of them. I don't see myself as competing with anybody, even if they are doing the same thing, because every single human being has their own special, unique sauce. So I will tell you this,
Absolutely.
every day that I went to that set to show up and wash dishes, I went there with a positive, happy, vibrant attitude. I carried on and laughed. I was still Stephanie. I wasn't Freakin licious because I was mindful and respectful of the host. But every
Yeah.
day I went there and I said, thank you for her. I said, thank you. I am
Yeah.
grateful for what she creates for herself, what she's done for herself through her purpose, through her passion. And I would do my, because it was a couple of hours always, like when I got there before I'd actually have to start washing some dishes. And I would sit back there and I'd have my headset on. I'd be doing my chakra balancing meditations and I'd be
Yeah.
expressing my
Yeah.
gratitude and doing my mantras. But and this is another thing, and this is so important. If there's something that someone is doing or they have, instead of like, don't put the resentment or the jealousy, bring forth the gratitude, because
Mhm.
if you want that energy, then you have to match that energy. And if you like,
Yes.
we can also talk about this in this climate of, and I'm not going to go into exact politics, but if you are a person who desires financial and abundance, don't look at, for instance, somebody who's mega wealthy and go, oh, all rich people are assholes, and
Mhm.
then wonder why you struggling.
Mhm.
Anybody who, like, I don't care who it, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, be thankful for their financial abundance. Be grateful, and also say a mantra or send energy that they do good. And because you hear that even in our line of work, people with the limiting beliefs, like, oh, I want abundance. It's the law of attraction. That which like is ever to and self is strong. I want abundance. I want to go on vacations. I want this. I want this. I desire this. Oh, but all people who have money, they're greedy. You are doing the opposite to the energy that you're desiring for yourself. So instead, what I say with my clients is focus on those that are of that magnitude of wealth, like Oprah, like Tony Robbins, like people
Mm.
out here who are doing good, but also have that level of financial abundance. Focus on them,
Yeah.
because, and I used to say this on my podcast all the time, if anything is possible for anyone,
Yeah.
anything is possible for anyone, but you have to align yourself to the magnet, be a
Oh,
magnet to that vibration.
100%. 100%. I actually heard this quote from my girlfriend. She's like, everything seems impossible until it's done. And I'm like, yes. So the Tony Robbins of the world shows it's possible to be
Yes.
mega successful because people are desiring this, right?
Yes.
The person I have always loved Gabby Bernstein when I
Yes.
first
Oh, I adore
started.
her.
And I was like, oh my gosh. Like at first with imposter syndrome, I was like, guys, I don't know. Like I was praying, I'm like, I think you got the wrong girl. Go ask Gabby Bernstein. She's amazing. You'll love her. And then I got over that
Yes.
because then I was like, Gabby is Gabby, but they're like, we need Stephanie. So I had to see that what I offered was just as valuable as her. And a lot of it is this imposter syndrome, right? And sometimes if you don't put that into check, that's when it turns into jealousy and envy, right?
Exactly.
But what you can see, we're all brothers and sisters. We all have a sacred divine path.
Yes.
And if we can just follow our own North Star, there really is no competition,
Nope.
because when I light up your path, you light up everybody else's path. And like, we all go up together. There's so much room up there. The universe is abundant.
Yes.
If we could just see that, like
Yes.
literally help each other and start talking nicely behind each other's back and open opportunities without ever telling a person, like when we can lead with that intention of just doing good for people, I promise you the world is just going to open up for all of us.
Speaking of Gabby Bernstein, I read her book, May Cause Miracles. And
Mhm.
I have these calendar alerts that go off on my phone. And every day, that's my cat tuna fish.
Love
He's no longer
it.
with us, but salmon. Anyway,
Yeah.
at 10:10 every day, my calendar, remember the one where it says the universe has my back?
Yeah.
And Ariana Huffington, I don't know if you've heard of
Yes,
her,
I do. I do.
she says, always see the universe as rigged in your favor. And I wanted to go back to where you were talking about my, relentlessly in pursuit of something that was out of alignment. That was all still for me. And it was
Oh,
all still part of my
100%.
journey.
Exactly.
So, but it was also that, because it gives me that perspective
Yes.
of knowing that I was going for something that was out of alignment, and then to help me pivot into something that is, which is
Mhm.
Healthy Chef Steph and
Yes.
the Freakin licious,
Yes.
hosting my silly fun cooking show. I mean, I just started when I became certified as the health coach for the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. I just set my little iPhone up in my kitchen, and I'm like, and I hit record, and I didn't know anything about editing, and I did this hilarious kale video where I made my delicious scrumptious kale salad, and I did some dancing, and everybody, and then within 2 days, like I had all these views, and people were laughing and carrying on, and then I started having friends on my show, and we would dress up, and we would have themes, but everything was around healthy, scrumptiously delicious food, and and
Mm.
and that all being said as well is that, like with Healthy Chef Steph, it's a meal prep. So it's a fully prepared, scrumptiously delicious, super healthy and nutritious meal. Because so many people, and I hear this, I don't have time. I don't feel like cooking a meal when I get home. So it's easier to run through a drive-through or pop
Yeah.
something, I grabbed out of the freezer at the grocery store into the microwave. So this takes like every single excuse. I don't, my food is flavorful. And I learned that through a multi-year subscription of Cooking Light magazine in my 20s, and teaching myself how to make healthy food delicious. So that is what, eat for Rick and Licious, that's what it's all about. It's like that
Mhm.
healthy is delicious. And so it's going to be good for you. Okay, so we got that covered. If you're going to really thoroughly enjoy eating it, and it's easy, it's convenient. I recommend saute pan. That's my personal recommendation. Certainly heat it up in the microwave. It takes just as long to top it. Especially the filet. If you get my filet mignon and Szechuan filet and broccoli, you must do it in a saute pan because you don't want to overcook filet mignon. But
Mm.
again, it's about like, and that's what I thought of. Like, how can I reach this target audience that has, I don't have time, or how can I reach this target audience that, healthy food is bland,
Mhm.
or how, what,
Mhm.
and it's like all the bases are covered.
100%. But that's exactly to your point, right? Like you had to experience all of these different things. And even though it may not have been meant for you, it
Mhm.
reveals another dream behind a dream behind a dream. So I always teach people that if something actually happened in your timeline, because there's infinite amount of timelines based on our choices and our free will. But if something's actually happened in your timeline, it was meant to.
Right.
It was meant to serve as a lesson for growth, expansion, learning, understanding. Perhaps it was an opportunity for you to be a blessing to somebody else. Like there's so many things. And when we can unlock the wisdom behind it, then you can see how much you've actually grown and pivoted. Right? I mean, I've worked in the financial securities industry for the last 21 years. I like to tell people I started when I was 10. I worked with
Oh
the
no,
stock
girl.
markets,
Girl, we only 35, maybe
right?
36.
I I love the stock markets. And I'm like,
Yeah,
I am going to be trading until I'm old and wrinkly. Like, that's
right,
a guarantee, you know? And I really was so convinced my whole life that this is what I'm going to do forever. And it's really interesting how life shifts you and shifts you. And as long as you're open to the expansion of your mind and you get these little tiny shifts of perspective, one little moment at a time, enough for you to be able to handle. But you start to see yourself in a different heightened place. You're like, maybe I'm not just this one person. Maybe I'm now two. I can be two people, right?
right.
I'm teaching about healing, growth, expansion, manifestation while still working at a financial institution that serves the community of
Right.
investments. And perhaps one day I'm going to have this is my primary objective of what I'm doing in this world, right? So we get to grow and pivot on a moment by moment basis based on the choices that are presented to us. Life and destiny come to us in the form of choices, but when we can follow our inner truth, which is what our why is, that is those little shifts in perspective, little shifts and pivots into the right direction that get you into the alignment of your North Star, which is where you're headed. And I'm so excited for you.
You know what? My brother does the same thing you do. He's in the he's for a bank here in the States, obviously. Um,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
he's in the financial securities.
Okay. Yeah.
So I think you
Me
you
too.
said those two words, and I think that
Yeah.
that's what he does. You know, something with people with money. And I tease him because y'all, I gotta share some of my personal like goofy moments. But I love getting on the elliptical and having phone conversations. You see me doing elliptical lives because I'm
Yeah.
so inspired when I'm at the gym, especially on the elliptical where I can ask some nuts. And that's when I'm able to talk. That's Ask Lacey. I will call her and I'll be like, "Girl, I got an hour. I can talk to you." Because other than that, I'm running like a dog. I'm running like a damn chicken all day, every day, in 1,000 different directions. But
Yeah.
I'll call my brother at like 10:30, 11 o'clock. I go, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Well, it's 10:30 on a Tuesday. I'm working, you know." And I'm like, "Well, but it's gonna, I tease because he's hilarious. My brother Will is one of the funniest people. He's real dry and sarcastic, and he'll be like, I'll be like, or he'll like send me the voicemail sometimes, and it'll be that message, "Can I call you back?" or whatever. And I'm like, "What do you mean call me back? It's perfect time for me to talk. I'm hands free on the elliptical. What work schmirk." So it's always this running joke where I call him while he's working. Sometimes he's able to talk, and sometimes he's not.
That's so funny. I just love it. I love it.
Yeah,
I love your personality.
thank you,
But
thank you.
this is amazing. You know what? Thank you so much for sharing this journey with us because I really hope it just shows, what started off as one thing
Right.
leads to so many different things, so many paths. And
Mm-hmm.
whatever path you choose at that moment is okay. It's the right path because you're acquiring wisdom, but
Absolutely.
you can't get it wrong because eventually we're all going to end up here. We just take different paths to get there, right? So just
Absolutely.
trusting your inner guidance, which is based on your truth, your inner why.
Mm-hmm.
And if we can just take the courage to live our truth, then we'll be able to speak our truth and take action on what feels aligned and truthful to us at that moment. And really, it just brings us happiness, right?
Absolutely. And I did want to say something else about my meal prep, and I don't actually have a sheet because I've got them taped or magnetized to the fridge. But in every bag, I put something that is in alignment with empowerment.
Oh, I love
So
that.
right now, if you go to my website, dforrickinlicious.com,
Mhm.
there's this some attack play sheet. And it's just like, it's not necessarily, it looks like a calendar, but it's like starting off like day one, write 10 things you're grateful for. Day
Oh, I
two,
love
write 10
that.
things you love about yourself. Day three, write 10 things you want to do before you leave this earth. And Steph, and I know you hear this too,
Yeah.
that people were like, well, like we do encounter people like, and they're just in a low vibration state at the moment. It doesn't mean that there's not the potential to be as high as
Mhm.
anybody. But it's like, what, I don't have anything to be grateful for. Well, you know what? I bet you, if you thought real hard, you could come up with one thing. And just that one thing elicits a change in the energy within
Yes.
your soul, your body, your mind, everything. That the next day, maybe you thought only, maybe you only think of that one thing, but then in 2 days, maybe you think of three things, and it builds and it builds. And what that does is it just keeps expanding the mindset and the
Yeah.
awareness of
Yeah.
what is possible for you.
Yes.
And
You know,
I do, yeah,
I have to just kind of add on to what you're saying. It's so true. And I mean, even a person who teaches this and lives it, I mean, we're all human beings, right? So, for example, me and my family, I have 3 children, all in like, one baby, 2 in
yeah,
competitive sports. So life is busy. I'm working full time, two jobs going on parallel, been traveling. So what happens is that when we have company, all of the laundry of the house ends up in my room. So there's a mountain, a
yeah,
mountain of clothes. And I was like so overwhelmed. And I was just like, oh my God, I don't, I don't even have time to go pee. Like, what am I going to do this mountain? And I was so overwhelmed. So it's been sitting there for a very long time.
right,
So the other night, I was like, instead of just walking by my mountain, feeling very sorry for myself, because I'm like, I need a housekeeper,
right.
I
Somebody,
looked at my mountain and I'm like, I'm going to give you 10 minutes. That's all I got. Just 10 minutes. 10 minutes is whatever I can do in 10 minutes is what I'm going to do. Do you know I got through 2 baskets? I created a space that I didn't know was possible. And I felt so good, inspired. And I was like, oh my gosh, imagine what I can do in another 10 minutes. Now I can see the pathway of this being possible, right?
yeah,
And that's what life is, right?
yep,
When you see, there's that book, Eat the Frog. Like when you see your biggest challenge and frog in front of you, that's when you just run towards it. Even if you have 10 seconds, one
mhm,
second, 10 minutes, like whatever you have, you just look at it, you face it, and then you just dip your toe in, whatever you can do at that time, because it creates a light, a portal of light. And
right,
that light will feel happiness, fulfillment, and it will actually energize you to go and do it more.
right. And
Right?
that being said, during times where, and I haven't shared a lot of like pull out the rug from under me experiences, but I've had my share. And instead of like, we all go through times of despair and heartbreak and heartache, and I call them dark nights of the soul. At
Yeah.
least that now that's what I'm intellectually calling them, because they're a purging, and there are certain things that happen, I think, that happen in our lives that are
Yeah.
here to attach to energy that needs to be released. Uh,
Yes.
we all have viruses, and you're deprogramming the viruses. So
Yes.
I know in some of the times where I have felt so sad and worried and feel just immersed with doubt, fear, and worry. And
Mhm.
what has totally, because again, I learned the tools early, so it's easy to me. Oh, let me try this. I mean, I'll feel it, and I'll feel it longer than maybe I want to, but then
Yeah.
it's like, okay, what am I grateful for? And all of a
Yeah.
sudden, for me, it's just like an avalanche. All the stuff, and but what happens, Steph, is that after I'm like, 10 things I'm grateful for, 12 things, 15 things, 20 things, 30 things, my physical energy has then, and I'm no longer feeling that depth of despair and heartbreak. And
Yes.
again, our vibe attracts more.
Oh,
Whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, either way, you are right. And knowing that gives yourself, if you really truly believe it, it gives yourself the
mm,
power to create your life, to manifest, to live the $1 million life,
yeah.
the feeling fulfilled, elatedly excited, joyful, peaceful, freedom of play. These are
Yeah.
words. And I kind of was hit on them in the beginning, but no, this freedom of play, peace of mind, you know,
Absolutely.
uh, just this euphoria,
Yes.
bliss,
Yes.
and
That is
All
your
the
$1,000,000
words.
life.
Yes,
That
that.
is the place of abundance. Abundance is your
Yes.
$1,000,000 life, and it's the feeling of inner peace, happiness, fulfillment, joy. Joy is when your inner smile shines brighter than your outer smile, right?
Oh my God, I've
It's
never heard
not
that. I love it. I'm gonna
it's not
quote you.
how perfect we make ourselves appear to the world, because some people have these beautifully correlated and polished, edited Instagram reels that show this
Right,
perfect lifestyle.
right,
But they go home and they're broken and crumbled and crying and looking at how many people like their reels, right?
right.
And it's not about that. It's not about this illusion of perfection. It's literally about feeling so happy within the inside and
Mhm.
living your joy on a moment by
Yes,
moment basis.
yes.
And for me, it's, prayers fulfilled. For
Hmm.
me, it's coming home to a peaceful home, having a loving marriage, having happy and thriving children,
Hmm.
having nourishing relationships around me.
Hmm.
And this is the place that I want to teach people the pathway that they can have this too, because it didn't start off this way for me, right? I've
Right.
had to experience the gamut, the full polarity in all of the situations. And that's what I think we do. The degree of spiritual transformation we have, like the degree of darkness is the degree of light we can bring in, right?
Absolutely. Hmm.
It's amazing.
I
Oh,
absolutely. What you just said about what when you said true joy. I think you said true. Well, this is recorded, so and I'm gonna quote you. Well, I think you said true joy is when the smile on the inside
yes, your
is
inner smile
brighter.
shines brighter than your outer smile.
Oh,
Isn't that isn't that what we all want, right?
absolutely, and we're all worthy of
We're
that.
all worthy of it. That's God's will for all of us. That is
Mhm.
our birthright, actually. But poor choices and insecurity block this from us, right? Our free will, sometimes we choose the wrong things, and then the natural consequence of cause and effect come and propel us into a downward spiral, even though we
Right.
should be going. But, life comes, I always say there's only two choices that come on a moment to moment basis. It's right or easy. Right propels you to your North Star, your $1,000,000
Mhm.
life.
Mhm.
Easy propels you downward into rock
Right.
bottom. But
Or it
rock
keeps
bottom's
you
actually,
complacent, keeps
yes,
you here,
or it keeps you stuck. And that's the law of the
stagnant.
circle.
Yeah.
And that's when you're not as angry of your circumstances, then, you're willing to accept it. You know that it's not what you want to be, but it's comfortable. You know it, the energy. And you're just going to stay there until you're angry enough in your circumstances. That's when you're going to ignite change. And that's when that inner fire is going to light up your Kundalini and like you're going to
Mhm.
shoot up.
Right.
And that's when you're like, you're going to make the decisions that you've been tire kicking on. You're going to actually step forward into your life and create your destiny, not just be willing to accept the circumstances that are
Right.
around you, right?
Right, right, right. And again, it's easy for us because we're in alignment, we're living that truth.
Yes.
But for other people who are just they allow themselves, everybody allows. You either you get what you expect and you
Yeah.
allow for good or you allow for not so good. So what
Mhm.
do you want? How do you want to feel? How do you want to experience your every moment and every day? Does it mean that every moment and every day is joy and pure bliss? No.
100%.
But like your North Star, how do you want, what do you want and why, and how do you want to experience life? Focus on that. And then the answers will come. The
Mhm.
answers will come. Pursue your fervent, like what
Yeah,
lights you up. And the answers
100%.
come. And you might have to pivot two or three or 1,000 times.
Yes, and that's why it's so important, to your point about your inner truth, your
Mm-hmm.
why. Like, why are you doing what you're doing? Because even when you have those hard days or you're being tested, you're tested. Do you really want this? Are you being tested and distracted to get away from it? How much do you really want it? And that's what's going to keep pushing you forward, upward into your North Star. That's why it's so important to be really, really clear about who you are and where you're going. and why you want what you want, because that's your inner motive that is fueling your compass, right? Because we can go anywhere we want. There's infinite timelines that we can
Yeah,
experience, and there's no right or
absolutely.
wrong, good or bad. We're meant to experience. But if we're going to graduate this school of earth, we got to get up here. And some people
Right.
just don't get there. And that's okay,
That's
because we always
okay.
have the opportunity to try again,
Exactly.
right? In a minute, in a day, and maybe a different lifetime. But we'll always have the opportunity to try again. And it comes with learning our lessons, stepping into alignment, and actually following your North Star, which is your inner truth, your inner why.
Oh
So
my God.
I love this stuff. You're amazing. So
You're
listen,
amazing.
if somebody wants to be in touch with you
Yeah.
and buy your delicious food, first of all, is it possible for people who are living not directly beside you?
Not at this time. However,
Okay.
that is in the foreseeable future. Right now,
Amazing.
Charlotte, North Carolina, and
Okay.
local to Charlotte, the local surrounding areas around Charlotte, North Carolina,
Okay.
I offer meal prep and delivery. And and so that is Healthy Chef Steph.com.
Perfect.
So
And
it's
I'm
my
going to
name.
include this in
Yeah.
all of our transcripts. So don't
And
you worry.
that
So we'll
you
include
wanted
your
me to
website. And this is your cookbook. Oh my
now
gosh.
this
You
anybody can
freaking
get
licious.
on Amazon or barnesandnoble.com, anywhere you get your, but it's, see there, this these AKA Steph. Funny, I
I
know it's
love
turned
it.
around, but it's
Yep.
the freaking licious. Healthy is
Yeah.
delicious. And that's my chicken piccata. And what's so healthy about the chicken piccata is it's got the natural Italian flavors of the butter, the white wine, the
Yeah.
lemon, you know, but that's also got like spinach or asparagus, tomatoes, peppers, onions. So it adds extra nutritional
That's
value.
so well balanced. Oh my
So
gosh.
yeah,
I'm so hungry.
oh
That's
yeah,
amazing. And do you offer coaching services still to clients who are looking for it?
absolutely. And
Okay.
that so DeForRickinLicious.com is
Yeah.
where you can reach out and sign up for coaching with me. Um, it used to be HealthyChefSteph.com, but then I had to pivot because that's the name of my business as far as the meal prep. So the best way to reach out would be either to follow me at HealthyChefSteph.com on
Okay.
Instagram. And it's just
Okay.
HealthyChefSteph.com 704 because that's
Okay.
our area code.
Yep.
And because I know I get it deep for Rick and Licious, and that's cool and it's cute and it's fun to say and everybody loves it. But it's like, how the hell do you spell that? How do you know? But
Yes.
yeah,
You know what?
Healthy
I'm
Chef
going to
Steph.
include all of the links
Yeah,
here. So
perfect.
whether
Awesome.
you want to hire you
Cool.
for coaching, for your delicious meal preps, if you're local to Charlotte, or if you're looking for this amazing cookbook,
Yes.
I'm going to create a pathway for you to connect with Stephanie. And you are going, and please follow her on Instagram, Facebook. She is hilarious. She's so positive. When you're having a really crappy day, she just lights you up, and she's just so amazing.
And I will reach
So
out to people and be like, I reach out. I care. I really have a heart pounding for humanity. And
I
I'll reach out to people like, what's up? I'm not seeing you post. I mean, I do it all the time.
absolutely. And you have for me as well. And I'm like, it feels so amazing to have a sister in this industry
Absolutely.
where we're growing and shining together, and we have a bad day and we can sense each other, right?
Yes,
Like,
girl.
Steph, what's going on? Let me help, you know?
Yeah, like what's
Amazing.
going on? I'm not noticing some stuff, and I'm like, oh, I celebrate people doing what I do, y'all. I celebrate. Come on, I'm like, let's all come, let's go together, let's all go, let's
Absolutely.
go.
I have the mindset you should never be lonely at the top. Like, let's
No,
go together. Like, let's all go.
absolutely.
I
Oh my
respect people who don't want to, and that's okay.
God.
But I believe that we're all meant to go there. And when people are ready, my hands are always going to be reaching down to grab
Oh,
them where
cool,
they
cool.
are. Yeah. So, Stephanie, thank you so much for joining the podcast today. It's been such a pleasure having you. For my community, Please like, subscribe, share this with a friend to inspire you to live your $1 million life and to eat healthier food choices for your mind, body, soul. And if you are looking to step into the highest timeline of your own destiny, I welcome you to check out yourmilliondollarlife.com to explore the blueprint of the program that I offer, which is a deep dive to astrology, looking at your past lives, your current life, and your own North Star to put you into divine alignment and fulfill everything you're chartered to do in this world. So from my heart to yours, I thank you all for joining me today. Stephanie, I love you with all of my heart.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing such a great job keeping us healthy. And I look forward to continue seeing you as a shining star.
Look forward to seeing you.
Thank
Bye, everybody.
you.
I'm trying to
Bye,
get on the camera. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to today's podcast. If you are ready to heal your deepest wounds and manifest your greatest life, I welcome you to explore the blueprint to your $1 million life, the divinely channeled program that is creating miracles for people all over the world. Visit www.stephmahony.com.